Good evening, degenerates.
Sports!
Today,
Sports!
we are ranking
Sports!
our favorite sports to watch.
Sure.
I mean, everyone wants
We
to
literally cover every
Yeah.
single thing.
what
We
we do.
mostly cover football, but we watch way too many sports. We were
Everything.
Yeah.
watching the
name it.
Four Nations hockey last week.
Chinese ping pong at 2 a.m.
Yep, doing that. You're watching
We're watching
golf.
Michael
We're
on
watching
TV.
college baseball. We're watching college basketball.
Everything.
Literally everything. So we were just sitting back and thinking, if we were at a rank our enjoyment of different sports, like how do we view these things from the eye of the beholder?
Yes.
You know, what would that list look like? I never really put it on paper. And so I want to go one by one. We can go around the table. I'll go ahead and kick it off, and then whoever wants to jump in
Rip
can
it.
jump in. And I'm going to give you my list of the most enjoyable sports to watch and why, and we can kind of debate and talk about it. All right, starting off the beginning. Number one is college football.
Okay, I'm happy
By
you
far.
said that.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Put that-
'Cause that's been your number one forever.
Put that up there, steal it, stamp it, like just, you know, Sharpie that shit in. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't even come close to me. I think no other sport can produce the energy and electricity on a weekly basis that college football can, from random games across the country, multiple games a week, all happening at the same time. There's nothing like it from a stadium atmosphere for sports in the U.S. specifically. You know, you can look overseas to like EuroLeague and Premier League soccer and World Cup stuff to see like stadiums like that. But college football, like a random SEC matchup at night,
yeah.
does this week in and week out in the United States. So college football, number one by far. Number two, this was tough for me, but it's the NFL. And I've been hating on the NFL very heavy, but the Super Bowl is the best event in all of sports.
It is.
In my
It
opinion.
truly is.
And there's no sport that gets the viewership numbers they
Not
do.
even close, yeah.
It's just held in the highest regard, I think, of any. You know, it's really hard to achieve. There's not like you look at NBA championships, right? There are teams, Lakers, Celtics, 17 championships, all that. You know, Steelers were looked at as one of the best organizations of all time. 6 Super Bowls. Tom Brady has 7 by himself.
Yeah.
No other team has more than that. Like, it's really coveted award. It's pretty spread out, honestly, if you look over a long enough period of time.
Yeah.
So, and I think just the NFL product, yeah, they have their problems, but at the end of the day, it's American football. It is king in the United States, and they crush in viewership numbers. College football, I just have college football higher. Number 3, college basketball. Strictly for one reason and one reason only.
The madness.
The madness in March. We are approaching the madness in March. It is the best playoff of any sport globally. I think, but there's nothing like the first 4 days of March Madness. There's no event I've ever viewed like it. You're watching like 14 hours of basketball a day on 4 screens at once, and like you're just putting through a 64 team bracket, 68 teams make, including the playing games. There's nothing like it. I know the regular season kind of draws on to whatever, it's regular season basketball in general, but just because of the playoff event, I think you've got to have them in the top 3. Number 4, UFC. I was going to put other sports ahead of it, but then I was thinking about it from a strictly output perspective. You know, consistently really good events. You can probably get 2 a month that are watchable cards, and I think it's really the only sport spread out throughout the year that has really marquee main events routinely.
Consistently,
Like you'll
yeah.
see
yeah.
like 6 like really, really, really good cards with headliner fights that everyone's talking about, and you get it the entire year. In a top tier UFC fight, I mean, what was the BMF match? What was that between?
Max Holloway versus.
Is it Gaethje?
Gaethje,
Yeah, Gaethje.
Max Holloway and Gaethje.
Yeah.
Like that type of event, I don't think there's a more exciting 15 minutes in sports
Point to the center of the
than
ring
any
and
than
start duking it
anything
out.
Yeah.
in that the UFC could put out. Number 5 is World Cup soccer for me. Soccer, I know probably a lot of you guys maybe are all going to have higher than me on this list, and soccer in general. Soccer in general didn't make my list, whether it's Premier League, Euro League, US, whatever. But World Cup soccer, I understand how popular soccer is globally. I'm just not a fan. But it turns even non-soccer fans like myself into, you know, actively following the tournament. I'm getting hammered,
Rooting
painting
for
my
the
face.
US.
Yeah, just like waving an American flag, posting bald eagle memes all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much else that can get me to do that. And the games are electric, especially when it goes into PKs. So it had to be in the top 5. 2 more on my list and an honorable mention. Number 6, PGA Tour golf. The Masters is, in my opinion, the second best single sporting event in the entire year of sports.
Wow.
I have it ahead of the college football national championship.
Oh.
I have it ahead of the NBA finals. I have it ahead of all of those things. The Masters is something, and I'm not just talking about all majors in general. I love the majors, but there's something about the Masters. It has this aura to it.
Really
it's
does.
just so heavy, and people, even non-golf fans, watch the Masters. You know, it's such an exclusive event to get to. You can't just buy tickets to the Masters. You can't just like it's so rooted in tradition and hasn't changed over the years that to me it's just I hold it so high that I'm going to put the PGA at 6. And number 7, bottom of my list, I'm putting NBA. Used to be number 2 on my list. Regular season to me, borderline unwatchable from a fan perspective unless something interesting happens, i.e. Luka getting traded to spice up the league. Before that, I'm a diehard Lakers fan. Probably watched less than the amount of games I can count on my fingers, before the trade during the regular season. But the Game 7s are really Game 7 playoffs, really exciting. That's why the NBA is still up there. But compared to all these other sports, I really feel like it's fallen off. Honorable mention, because it only comes around every 4 years, Olympic sprinting and swimming. I know they're really short events, but for some reason, everyone who doesn't run and doesn't swim becomes obsessed with these two events, and the Americans just dominate it, and it's so much fun. Like Noah Lyles, you get all these. So I had to throw that in there as like an honorable mention. But yeah, Ryan,
I like it.
Let me show you.
That was my. I don't know. I think it'll
I
probably
like
be
it.
a little different than your guys.
No, yeah, because
Honestly, pretty similar.
I dove in
different
here
orders.
because
different orders,
I don't
the same
even
sports.
I don't even look at the like regular season. I was me for specific timing of events or like when the biggest event happens.
That was like the Masters.
How
for my
I'm
PGA,
how obsessed am I with it, or how much do I think fans will stand up or actually like be in the TV, regardless if you're a fan or not. Number 1, college football, and this was the only one. This is the only one that's across any board. It's going to be week 1 of a rivalry game. It could be week 7, an upset where people take down the goalpost. It could be the playoffs. It could be the natty.
Oh, the goalpost in
Yeah,
Tennessee.
no, there's no, really no, and then the next week in Vanderbilt. Like, there's no, there's nothing like it.
Tennessee.
No, I'm saying, same thing.
That's whole state.
No, yeah, they're screwed. No goalpost. But there's really nothing like it in the world. It's a bunch of college kids that are like thinking and like us. So it's like watching them charge the field, watching them. It's just the most electric thing. I think Pat McAfee did a great job this year of making it just
I agree.
electric across the board with like adding Nick Saban and everything.
For game day, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Number 2, I had the Super Bowl for me, but football, I guess, number 2.
Same 1 and 2.
Yeah. Just the Super Bowl is the biggest thing in the world. I love watching. I mean, every year we've had a couple years in the like 2 out of the last 15 years that it's been bad Super Bowls, quote unquote. It's the most electric game. It's so fun to watch. The playoffs are fun. The best players in the world are playing, and it's just football. It's the most viewed sport for a reason. The world watched it. My number 3 was actually the World Cup. I think there is nothing cooler than backing a country in soccer, and so many people get up for it, even if they're not even like you. If you're not a soccer fan, it's the coolest thing. Even though U.S. hasn't been good in a while, it's really cool to watch.
What did we do last World Cup? Weren't we not terrible?
We're young, so we're getting better.
Yeah.
So we're not in anything.
We
weren't
didn't.
even.
I think we made it.
tied
No.
England, and that was like a win for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was because they didn't need a win. All they needed was
Well,
a
I
tie.
mean, it doesn't matter.
Did we get out of
Well,
group
we
stage?
So
had
it
to
was
not
group
we had to
stage.
not lose to England, and
Oh, we did.
we tied.
Correct.
So yeah.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, I also think we'll be a lot better going in the future. But World Cup for me is the coolest thing. I think I love it so much. My number 4 actually would be the UFC. I think a UFC.
Same spot.
And I also think when a UFC, we're not just consistency. When a UFC card is stacked, it is the most insane thing to watch. You're always on the edge of your seat. You're not bored. You're not waiting. It doesn't matter if your team's not in there, your favorite fighter's not in it. It's just the most insane thing ever, and I'm obsessed with the UFC, so most electric thing ever. Number 5, I have the basketball Olympics. Just basketball and Olympics. That's
Basketball
it.
Olympics?
There's,
Okay.
I mean, it helps that we're rooting for the U.S., but it is the coolest thing to just watch domination every single year.
No, I mean,
And also,
Yeah.
Ron, Katie, Steph.
I maybe should have added that. I was just thinking from a competitiveness standpoint. I know this year was more competitive, but like we've won almost every.
no, I know,
gold
but
medal.
it's
That
also
was-
fun. Like for me, I love watching like Jokic on
I agree.
Serbia or like
Yeah.
somehow other teams like France bring their teams up. I just think it's.
I would add it if I could revise.
I love
this.
basketball Olympics. One of my favorite things. My next one would be the baseball playoffs. Personally speaking, in the World Series, I love it. I think the best players in the world. It's a lot closer games. It's not just so like in NFL playoffs or even college football this last year. It's just blowouts a lot of the time. In MLB, it's less of that. I think there's a lot of close games, better upsets because it's baseball. Crazier things can happen. My next one is just a run pretty much of basketball. It goes college basketball, March Madness, NBA Finals, and then any game that Caitlin Clark played in WNBA or a regular season game. I think
Facts.
No, it was a lot. It actually changed the world of how people watch.
Switch
a certain
NBA and
sport.
Caitlin Clark.
No, actually, it's a sweat. Just Caitlin Clark up there. Next, hockey playoffs, Stanley Cup. In my opinion, it's the craziest thing. You guys were watching in the international stage.
That was
That's-
electric.
That happens all. It's nonstop. People fighting, running, like you're never not watching. You can't step away. You know what I mean? So I love it. And then my real quick runoff for boringness. I put Masters golf up there. It's for me. It's just I won't be on the edge of my seat, jumping and screaming. I'll like appreciate it, as a
You're
sport.
soaking it in.
Yeah, I'm soaking it in.
I like
I'm a
to
soaker.
I like
I'm a
to
big
soak.
soaker.
I like to soak.
And then my next couple top.
He's Mormon.
You had to throw that. How would you know? A top four tennis player playing is next on my list. So Medvedev, Jokic, Sinner, Alcaraz. I could watch them play all day. I love the sport. I love it. It's
The OG
amazing.
Federer and Nadal matches. Those
Even
are-
back then, if you're an OG, the top four players back
at the
then.
Open.
Could run it.
Yeah.
Next is Scheffler
Andy
playing
Murray.
golf at any time. I have Scotty Scheffler next on my list.
Yours
playing
at
golf at any
specific
time.
events.
Yeah, you have it.
Sporting
And then-
events.
And then my last one is any game I'm at. If
Okay.
I'm at the game,
I've
it's
got
the
to
best
say,
thing to watch.
I'm actually surprised. I would have laid money Ryan would have had horse racing in his top 5 or 10. Not being mentioned, genuinely shocked. I'm genuinely
No,
shocked by
because
that.
this is I was trying to make it worldwide, and horse racing we're a Degen group and no one knows horse racing.
No, I'm saying you.
No, yeah. If this was like a full on like
a Ryan list.
I was trying to make this more apparent to like what people believe into
alright.
the world.
I
But
would
horse racing is number one.
I would have lost money.
Horse racing is number one.
I would have lost money.
Oh yeah, 100%.
betting on you doing
As
it.
100%.
Jokic, that's all he does in the
Yeah.
Young forever next week, Saratoga.
All
Lock.
right,
Ooh,
Mario,
good to know.
let's hear your list, and we're going to end with Mike.
All right, so no difference here between 1 and 2. I have college football number 1, NFL number 2.
Football just rules.
Fair enough. We might be biased.
Yeah, we might be
Yeah.
biased. For me, the logic behind these rankings, it was kind of the culmination of everything. College football playoffs obviously are like super electric, but so is the regular season. So
Yeah.
I think like for me, I'm taking everything into account.
It does have by far the best regular season. I noticed in all 3 of our lists so far. And I'm
Best
assuming
regular
Michael
season.
might have some too. Mostly we're talking about events or playoffs. College football's the only one you're like, dude, a week 3 game could be.
No, like the regular season's actually I think better than the championship games. The playoff games are good too. Like
Yeah, I
the
agree.
games leading up, but always the championship game is always a little underwhelming.
the
but
build up in the rankings. And,
yeah, no, it's
So
the
much
constant
to it, yeah.
movement. But yeah, I have that number 1, NFL number 2, obviously,
Clean
just
sweep
because
at the
you
top.
know, short regular season. I'm still watching. I'm still invested. Not only you can exclude fantasy, even though that's a big reason I watch a Browns versus Jaguars game, but but just in general, I don't
the hell?
know.
Like
That's a crazy Clemson.
The 2 Clemson
Deshaun
quarterbacks in
Trevor.
the league.
I just
Neither
pulled
of them
that too.
playing concussion versus massage. I mean, you never know.
No, but yeah,
Crazy pull.
I love the regular season, and I think the playoff, NFL playoff, and Super Bowl are just the coolest things ever. For number 3, I have soccer, just because I think the regular season.
What soccer specifically? Anything?
Or you just
I have
it all.
soccer. I'm gonna get
Okay,
into it,
yeah.
but I think when you're just talking the regular season, I know it's different for soccer. You play your season, and then their playoffs is a whole different kind of tournament, like Champions League if you're a good club. But even the regular season games are pretty electric because one win, can really create distance for you to kind of seal up that title. Also, there's a lot of really good teams. If the Premier League or any other league like Barcelona and Real Madrid, Atletico are all in one league in La Liga in Spain. They're just competitive leagues. A lot of like top tier talent, whereas the NFL, maybe you get like 3 really good teams and they can kind of beat everyone else.
Yeah.
Whereas soccer, you see those teams match up a lot more, and especially getting to the Champions League, which is kind of like the soccer version of the Super Bowl, because I mean, you look at the amount of titles that teams have won, it's very similar. Well, not very similar, but it's kind of similar to the Super Bowl. It's been around longer, but still, like the most team ever with Champions League wins is Real Madrid with 15. Then after that, it's like drops off to like 7 and 6, and then 3, 4, 2.
Yeah.
Like it's really spread out.
Yeah.
It's a really hard tournament to win. I just think it's really electric. Number 4, I have college basketball, simply because of March Madness. I
Yep.
mean, that is the most insane thing ever. I still remember in high school, like us on our Chromebooks, just
Dude,
having,
I remember
we'd
that.
all have like, we'd each have like
A different
15
game.
games.
We'd
up.
ditch class and go in that one computer room. And
Yeah, and just have
Set up
every
all the
game on every,
laptops.
and
Yeah.
we're just like, and you're just locked in, and it's like buzzer beater, like
Yeah.
it's the coolest thing ever. I have UFC at number 5. Not gonna harp on too much, but I mean, it's just, I think it's overtaken boxing for
Oh, yeah.
combat
Oh,
sports
not even
Oh, yeah.
close.
for the most
Yeah.
important. Like, even if you get the most high profile boxing event, UFC like a mid
the
level
third fight is still
third
better.
fight is
Yeah.
still better
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
After that, I have the NBA. I was kind of unsure where to put the NBA. I had to put
Same.
it somewhere. I think for the simple fact of the playoffs, I have to put it right at number 6. Just I don't know. It's weird. The regular season's so bad,
So bad.
and it's fallen off. But
The playoffs are electric, though.
the playoffs are so electric.
Yeah.
I had to throw it in there. Number 7, I have F1. Listen.
Ooh.
F1 was cool watching it on TV. Going to it
Yeah.
live, we've all been to it. Tyler's been twice. We all
Yeah.
got to go see it. That was just
No.
something about
I
just
should
seeing
put that on my list.
a machine go 250 miles
Yeah.
an hour.
No, yeah.
It's just
It's pretty cool.
Great
no,
take. No, great take.
It's pretty cool.
That's a good one.
After that, I have the Masters at 8. I'm not a big golf guy.
I'm surprised you had that.
I
on
have
the
Yeah,
list.
I have an appreciation for it because I know how difficult it is. But the Masters, the past like 3 years, I've made an effort to start watching, and every year I just get more and more into it. I think it's actually really entertaining. Especially if I think it just takes playing golf, which I'd never really done until a couple years ago, and then after you play, get a sense of how hard golf is. And then you see how good these guys are.
It's ridiculous.
And
Except for
the
Tom
fact that
Kim.
they have to be good 3 days in a row.
4.
Or 4 days
Yeah.
in a row. Just makes it that much more impressive. And then I have MLB at 9. I don't know. The regular season is kind of whatever to me.
It's too long.
172 games or something, right?
62, right? Or something?
Yeah, it's just so many.
It's so many regular season games. And then the playoffs can be kind of hit or miss, just depending on the season. Whereas I feel like NFL playoffs, regardless, every year are going to be super entertaining. And then number 10, I put the Olympics, but specifically for number 10, 100-meter dash.
Yeah, that's where I was. At,
I mean,
sprinting
it's
and
like the
swimming.
one event where everyone around the world, like, for those 10 seconds is just
Gets all
like,
excited.
in the whole world. Like, you
Yep.
feel like almost everyone's quiet and they're just ready for that, like, gunshot
Shout out
to
Noah
fire.
Lyles.
Yeah, so that's my 10.
Heck yeah. That
I
was
like
a good
it.
list. I like throwing
That's a
F1
solid
in there. You
list.
got
That
the
was a dirty
Masters
one.
up higher.
F1's
than
a
I thought.
dirty
That
one.
was a different list than I thought we'd see from
I
Mario.
was shocked that you had the Masters. That was pretty cool.
Mike, newly renowned golf fanatic. I want to see how high you have the Masters. Let's hear this.
Second best golfer?
Let's see this
Might
list.
not be in
So-
top 10 for sure.
So I had I went a much more broad, approach with my list. So
You're a broad strokes guy.
yeah, broad strokes. So aim small, miss small, aim large.
Miss large.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is that so hard to have
Oh.
said around?
I just it's not good. So number 1 is just football in general. The atmosphere, the celebrations, the hits, the everything. Yeah.
European or American?
No, American.
Canadian?
Okay.
No, American. Honestly, if we're talking
that's
very specifically, like college football is probably what I would put at number 1. Pretty unanimous here, but
That was unanimous. Everyone had football, college, NFL.
Ding, ding,
1,
ding,
2.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
for
There you
sure.
go.
Consensus.
And I mean, there's a reason. Consensus. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a reason. Going to like an actual college game when like the entire crowd is with that like behind you. There's like the chants, the music. It's insane. It's the most amazing thing
The
of all time.
slurs, everything.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
The bad, the great food,
Jesus.
the warm beers, the cold beers. It's all good.
The cold beers that become warm beers.
Yep, exactly.
It means you're not drinking them bitches
It's because
fast
you
enough,
get
Mike.
4 at a time and you huddle them down, and then one goes
Huddle
warm.
them down?
Yeah, you huddle them down. All right, so number 2, in my personal opinion, is the UFC. I think the UFC is the way Dana White puts it is that he sells oh shit moments, and in my personal opinion, I feel like on almost any given fight night, on almost any given card, there's at least one of them. I know like a lot of times people don't watch fights if there isn't a name that's on there. And to be honest, I'm kind of the same way, but the like times I have put on the UFC when I don't really know the big names or whatever, I'm still amazed at these athletes and like, the performances that they're able to put on.
And you pretty much know every name.
I know a lot of the names. I definitely know a
There's a lot
lot.
of
But I
guys.
mean, that roster is unbelievably large for the UFC.
True.
But I mean, not only that, it's also like, we talk about how a lot of these events have the nation behind them. And we see that with like, Conor McGregor, Ireland, when they were all singing the Irish national anthem as his walk-in. We see the Dagestanis. We see like, the Russians. And it's very much a nationalistic sport. We have John Jones, the GOAT, literally the greatest of all
Damn
time.
right.
So America on top still.
Always number 1.
Always number one, baby. Number 3 is a little bit more specific, but less specific at the same time.
Well said.
The 100-meter relay for swimming in the Olympics. I think is awesome.
It is pretty
super
awesome.
fun. It's a team event. Like again, it's super
Is it
nationalistic.
the 4x4 or the
Well, it's
the
4x1, 4x1
Yeah,
relay.
okay.
That's just the sprint.
It's literally just a
just
sprint.
a
It's
sprint,
hit the
yeah.
wall, go back, and it's well, the medley, I guess, is the one where it's a different stroke every time or a new person.
Yeah.
I think that one is awesome. You know, you get all the excitement, everything. Number 4, I'm gonna go soccer. The reason why it's so high is I think soccer actually does a really good job of, because there's no commercials within the 45 plus minutes of each half. I think it keeps you on the edge of your seat knowing that, you know, you really can't look away, because if you do, anything can happen at any given moment. Counterattack or just a crazy hit from like outside the box. I don't know. I think it's awesome. Also, when you see really good players perform, it's like watching magic. It's pretty amazing. I also am not coordinated with my feet at all. So seeing people who are very coordinated with their feet, I'm like, wow, that's pretty good, you know? That's pretty good. That's pretty
You have
good.
a foot fetish.
Nope. Footfinder.com.
Whoa.
Find Mike.
What a plug.
Find
Yeah.
Mike.
And lastly but not
Link in the bio.
leastly. No. Lastly but not leastly, though, is an event that was left out by one of our cohorts here, and it is horse racing.
Oh yeah, that's.
And
lit.
let me tell you.
Well, it helps when
the
I'm
reason
there.
why. Well, yeah, I've actually never been to a horse race in my life, but I'm gonna tell you, there's something about the actual just like rawness of the event. It's similar to. Well, no, it's look. It's tartar, baby. It's tartar.
The
but
choice
like,
of words there. Was
no, it's raw.
That good old.
No, keep going.
Just
Keep
the
going.
Yeah.
rawness.
So I mean, it's just very rudimentary, right? It's one nose of a horse gets over a line before the other. It could
nose
be
over a line.
Look,
Knock on-
it could be
knock
followed-
on
it
wood.
could be
I mean, it's
followed
a
by
race.
it could be followed by an 80-year-old or an 8-month-old, right? And both parties will know who wins.
I don't know if the
At the
8-month-old
end-
could really.
They do. They just can't verbalize it. You don't get it. And so I think not only that, but also the rarity of the events. You know, there aren't many horse races. There aren't many derbies
So,
across.
okay, a derby is yes.
Yeah,
There's a horse
derby.
race every single
Okay,
day, every
there
hour.
aren't
of the
many
day,
big-
every second.
There aren't many
Horse racing
big
right now.
events.
There's more
like-
horse races than any
No,
other
like
thing in the world.
Saratoga. There ain't no
That's
Kentucky
fantastic.
Derby. There ain't no.
Yes.
The Derby's
you know,
the main
The
event.
Derby's the main ones, and so the rarity brings some extra excitement to it. And again, I think although the public is usually pretty sharp on who's going to win, there's enough upsets that happen in the sport to where it's like, hey, hold on to your horses. You know what I'm saying?
on to your horses.
Hold on to your
Hold on to
horses.
your
You
horses.
know what I'm saying?
Walking bar.
That's it. That's 5. Yeah.
Wow, I'm officially taking away Mike's golf card for not
Yeah,
including
wow,
the Masters
that's
in there.
crazy.
Mario included it. Everyone else included it.
To be-
Mike played more golf than anyone last month.
To be honest, though,
Did not include. No.
out of all 5
No
of the events that I
revisions.
said, I would take a nap while watching golf, and I wouldn't nap during any of the other 5 events.
Hey,
You know what I'm
that's a
saying?
bang. You can feel how you want
You
about
know what
golf.
I'm
I
saying?
just.
Well, there's no better
I just
nap.
removed the card.
There's just no better nap
You have to
than
get the card back.
Sunday afternoon, beautiful
But
day
Mike
out
hates
on the
during-
couch
during
watching
Augusta,
golf.
But
Sleep.
You're,
Mike
you're
has-
napping Sunday
Ma-
afternoon
Tyler,
during the
Tyler,
Masters.
Tyler.
It's Saturday
Mike
afternoon.
has made it on record that he hates naps and never has napped and never will nap.
Well, that's not the
He
point.
also said,
Just saying.
who
That's not
in
the
their
point.
right mind is napping? I get like maybe a Thursday afternoon. So if you're napping
Scotty
Sunday,
Scheffler's moving up the
Sunday
board.
afternoon at Augusta, you don't like golf. You don't like golf. That's it.
That's-
I want to
No.
throw a question out to you
biased.
guys
Yeah.
since we're talking about sports.
Yeah.
Sports.
Yeah, general consensus, right? Sports, athletic movements, but
Physical.
you can't leave out, I think, mental sports. I
Chess.
think it was said, no, I mean, chess players, like, on a tournament day can burn, like, up to 6,000, 5,000 calories. Like, something
nerves.
No, it's
crazy.
insane.
No, like, just because of just pure brain power. Obviously, there's, like, esports now, but I'm curious because one of those technical mental sports is poker. Where do you guys, if you were
God.
ranking World Series of poker, would it be in your top 10?
Not even
No, it
close.
couldn't
No,
be.
because I don't want to. Like I like
I
playing
think-
it
like
more
the
than I
main
like
event.
watching.
No, so
Final
like,
table.
I mean, I played the main event. I mean, we're talking watching it and playing it, whatever. I think it's one of those things. It's electric to watch for sure, but I don't think it comes close to a lot of these other events.
I agree.
I think, you know, a highlight tape of the biggest hands and the biggest cash games for sure.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah,
said
everyone-
cash games from 10 years ago, 12
Yeah,
years
like
ago,
there's
Well,
certain-
poker after dark's different.
that was
but-
sick.
Yeah, but poker's changed a lot. It's
It
not a lot of
has,
the
true.
same names there.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing a lot of legit randoms or like these super pro nerds who like cover their faces play. I don't love
These
the way the
quants,
sport's
yeah.
changed.
Yeah, boring.
If you take, the final tables when like Joe
Patrick Antonius.
McKeon won, or you had like those type of final tables.
Kasuf.
Yeah, like,
we win.
You could start talking maybe some of those, but the ones the last couple of years,
it's been
kinda-
personally, I'm not as big of a fan of.
I agree.
It's like the
Fly
NBA
like a
for me.
boss.
NBA would have been 2, 10 years ago. Now it's like barely my list.
Well,
Poker-
now this year it might fly back up the.
I mean, Lakers wins number 1.
You heard it here first.
But there you have it. Let us know what you think about our analysis. I mean, we kind of were all over the place with a lot of these ones. This was kind of a generic.
Did we leave out Fortnite?
How do we feel? Yeah.
That's a sharp.
What do we leave off the list?
years
What needs
ago,
to be
Fortnite.
higher?
Fortnite World
Is
Cup.
college football unanimously the best sport? Because that was the one take
I
that
love
was
how
consistent.
people would see. Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know what you think. Drop a subscribe if you're new here. We're talking NFL draft, March Madness, everything coming up. Stay locked in with us, Degen Hours. We're getting after it.